welcome again. Introduce myself, Kaan. So yeah, a little bit of background about me. I'm also from Turkey. I studied also in Istanbul. Before that, I studied in Science High School in a bit smaller city near Istanbul because my parents are like, my father used to work in military as an officer, so we used to move around the country. I had like a bit maybe tough childhood, I would say, like moving from here, there, etc. But like I was always successful, and like as my friend Mirza actually just at the back, he told like when we had 3 months back a meeting, like I had the feeling that we are the superstars, you know, like in our country we were like maybe top-notch students.
I said that?
Yeah, you said that like when you came here, like I am like feeling like a superstar, like I know everything, like I came from Kosovo, the best university, something like that. I remember, yeah, I had exactly the same feeling, like, because like I studied in the Science High School, which only maybe 0.5% of the country gets in, and then I get to the Istanbul Technical University, which is the top 2 governmental university on technical technology education. So I was in always top 1% of the students in Turkey, and I was like feeling really confident, and I had the confidence that like I would get any job I want in Turkey. You know, I used to work in Mercedes-Benz, which was the most like largest foreign invested company in Turkey, and then I worked at Tüpraş, which is a refinery, petroleum refinery, which was the largest company in Turkey. So I had that kind of hyper confidence that like that I could get a job very easily, and I never needed to search for a job, basically. So from that point, I came to Finland because I wanted to change my life, drive my life to some other direction, because I wasn't into corporate world. I wanted to get into entrepreneurship and basically actually doing an impact, making an impact in the society, in the world, like helping people, solving a big problem, a sustainability issue or whatever. So I felt like when I was Erasmus in Finland, I felt like Finland is the best place because people here have that mindset. They care about the sustainability, the environment and everything, the social right, human rights. So I felt like, okay, this is my country. I'm going there and I will have the opportunity to get to my idealistic point. However, I studied management engineering, which I wanted to actually accept that science background a bit, so I would get into these managerial positions. And when I came here, I continued with industrial engineering, which seems to be an engineering, but not actually we do any engineering, we just have the scientific engineering background. So, and like you would imagine, in Finland, the engineering positions easily get the job, but not maybe the industrial engineering that easily, because it's still a bit social engineering. So it's not easy to get a job. That's why actually I wanted to bring friends here, me and my friends, like kind of from those fields that are not easy to get a job. Because if you are IT or like if you have some coding skills, some hard skills, you can easily get a job in Finland if you just work for it a bit. So how did it change? Because I was really hopeless, and I was hating the idea that like I need to really look for a job. I would just apply, and I was expecting that I would get an interview very easily. First year went like big shock, like on my face, like nothing. I spent my summer doing nothing. I just went traveling, which I really love, but it was feeling in a way that, okay, I'm burning my savings and my parents' money and so on, so I need to figure out a way, and then I want to stay here after I graduate. So then the second year, I attended mentoring program organized by Business Tampere, Talent Tampere, and I have been also actively part of Tribe Tampere and other activities. Then, meanwhile, I noticed things like, it was really harsh because I was hating getting rejected. I wasn't used to that. But thanks to my mentor, I overcame that rejection phobia. So then I got a bit used to it, and I got the mindset that, okay, I need to be active and I need to really show my interest to those employers, those companies. And all of a sudden, when I was really deeply down, like I was feeling like, okay, I'm probably going back to Turkey. And as Berfin mentioned, that like last summer was the terrible hit on our currency rate. So I was feeling like maybe I wouldn't even come back because I didn't have any more funds to support myself, like sustain my life here. So it was a really, really terrible down point for me. And there was the Y-Kampus application, which I actually tried to apply them when I first came, because my friend Elisa, who used to be previous student activator, he used to work there, and she was my mentor. So I was telling her that, hey, I came here for this, I'm interested in this, and I want to work for this, can you help me? But at that point, there was the Finnish language barrier. They rejected me immediately. They didn't want to change the whole procedures and everything that from Finnish to English. So in the second year, somehow they changed, and I somehow saw the guy who I know as a second year student activator during my second year. So he said that, hey, we are hiring actually also this year one international, probably, there is a possibility. And he knew me that I'm active here, so he said that I should apply. And I applied. I wasn't very hopeful that they would hire an international. And it was the point that when I was really down, and I got the job. And right after that, I had a contact in Helsinki, which actually I dragged him here with me. He used to study with me, and I said to him, let's go to Finland, like, because he was also in the same mindset with me, and he got the master's program into entrepreneurship in Aalto University. Of course, the Helsinki ecosystem much better compared to Tampere, so he could get an internship, which is supported by the university, paid by the university, and then he got to the part-time job in the same company within just 3 months after he came. So it was very easy for him, and I was comparing myself like, okay, what should I do, and so on. So, but that guy knew me, and then when he had the job, and he got contacts, networks in Helsinki, and he passed me on a job, basically from his network, that helped me to start, like, kickstart my career already last summer. So I worked with Elias Robot, if you know the robot teacher, which got a bit of publicity around Tampere and around the world actually. So, Elias Robot. Robot Elias. Yeah. This is the robot that like dances Kagan style and like teaches English, and like it can teach 24 languages.
I saw that. I think they implemented it for the school.
Yeah, it was piloted in Tampere. Yeah, exactly. So because they had a customer requesting something from Turkey, and they wanted to translate everything to Turkish because the big boss didn't know. He was an old man in English, so I had to translate the things for them. And then they said like, hey, if you are free, if you want to help us, because I did deliver the things pretty fast, like earlier than they wanted. So they were impressed with my hard work. And then they said, if you want to work with us like for the summer, if you don't get any job, then we can give you an internship, but we don't have a fund yet, we don't have any paying customer yet. Until we find that, you can stay as an intern, then you can continue with us if you want to. So I was like at that point, because that's how my friend found the job in Helsinki, like starting as an intern. And I thought like, yeah, I was against the idea of working for free, you know. I am a master's student, I have that big ego, like confidence that I can get the job that I want, like well paying, but it wasn't the case. And after 2 years I had felt like I don't want to waste my potential and time here, so I want to work. So that was the mindset shift that I encourage you to also a bit shape, like you can actually not fully offer free work, maybe like for a long time, but it's a way to maybe get a job in Finnish companies, because as it's a fact, it's a homogeneous country still, Finland. There are not many internationals, so they are not really ready to accept internationals much, I would say. So it's very hard to get in, especially if you are their first international employee. And those ones who are like big corporates or big companies who are hiring international, it's very competitive because there are plenty of us here who are competing for the same English jobs for English working companies. So that was the mindset shift I had there. So I took the opportunity and I worked for them, and they were very satisfied. And meanwhile, I had one interview in February, which I was very hopeful, and then I got very disappointed because I felt like, okay, I'm getting the job finally. But then I couldn't get the job. They preferred a girl in Helsinki who was maybe a better match for them, whatever the reasons. But they were very positive about my enthusiasm and attitude. So they wanted to kind of help me with their email saying that, hey, we would like to give you feedback for your future endeavors. And then we don't want to like break the relationship, so we can consider in the future like working with you. So they wanted to keep the contact, and I went there to start with this job in Helsinki. So I contacted them as well. Hey, I'm moving to Helsinki and I'm interested like working over the summer, even for free, also for you. Like, can I help you? Because I was really interested in the job in their company. And they told, and they were like seeing that I have the attitude, and they wanted to give me the chance as well. It's like internship. So I got 2 jobs at the same time. Then after that, when I moved to Helsinki, then you start networking with people, you start meeting with people. I attended Arctic 15, the event. There I networked with, I was basically volunteering there, but as a volunteer, I took the opportunity to arrange meetings with investors and other companies to pitch the Elias robot and myself. So I got plenty of contacts, and they liked this, what I did there, because this is taking a bit self-initiative, and that's very much appreciated in Finland. So that was the thing that I kind of tried to prove myself that I can do more than what they expected, even though I'm an intern. So if you get an opportunity, just try to make that you are worth hiring. You know, that don't take it as granted that you will continue the job. That's not always the case. So after that, the guy who was the CEO, founder of the matchmaking tool, the platform in the event, he was Turkish. That was maybe a bit plus, but he met me there, and then when I was working in Helsinki, the office was basically in the same startup, something like this, a bit bigger. There are plenty of office spaces, so he had an office there. So we met there. He said that he wants to hire me, and I was really surprised and flattered in a way. And I was not sure, to be honest, because I got the offer from him, and he said like he will pay, and it was like well paying. But I was a bit sad, to be honest, myself, because I had just started with those 2 companies. Like I had with one like only 2 months, and with one only 1 month. So I was like, okay, but I felt like, okay, can we a bit postpone, even though I was basically suffering, you know, like because I had no money, I was no income, and I had to find a space in Helsinki, which was very difficult, much more expensive than here. Transportation is much more expensive than here. I was literally suffering, so I thought like, okay, I cannot reject this, so I have to take it. So I took it, even though I was feeling that I could actually continue with those 2 companies. There was the potential that they wanted to actually start talking that they would hire me in the end of summer, or like when they get some funding. And actually, when I quit and moved to other company, they just hired the other coder intern, which was, I was like, oh, maybe I should have stayed, but that's the destiny, you know, like you never know. You should just move to the thing that pays you at the beginning. And when you get the first job, I think that's easy to take the second job, because it's about like building the networks. That's my point. So all these jobs that I mentioned to you, I got them. The first one, robot, thanks to my friend, and Y-Kampus I was connected with them. I was attending the events here and events there. So I was connected with those people. They knew me. So the third job, I was connected also with them because they were a startup based from Tampere who moved to Helsinki. So we had a lot of common connections, even though we haven't met. And then the fourth one, the guy, he was also connected with the Turkish guy, and he was Turkish, so we had some also common networks. So all the things that I got in Finland made me realize that it's all about networking and networks. If you know people, they will either pass you or propose it to their friends and so on. So the first thing, the key thing that I discovered was the networks, importance of networks. And the second thing is about being active, the attitude. Like when I was not working, I wanted to create my own experience, like make up my own experience, how I can do that. Yes, I have this entrepreneurial mindset, so I wanted to start, for example, I want to get into marketing or sales fit, that's my field. So I wanted to write a blog and do things on my own in my free time so that I can show as a reference, because I didn't have a reference in Turkey on that field. In Turkey I was used to work in like production, because like management engineering and accounting, which I hated. That was also a thing that I wanted to move here and came to study like sales and marketing. So when I came here, I had no prior background on the field. That was the thing, like I had to prove them somehow, show that, hey, I have some stuff that I have done. So I took part in Demola projects. If you don't know, it's a project work organized within the university. You work with the real cases with companies. So that's also a way I thought like I could get a job. For some, it works in a way that you work on a project and they want to continue the project, so they hire you as a trainee if they like your work and so on. So Demola, creating my own experience, making up a blog and writing blogs, making videos and etc. different things, and being active, trying, testing out some restaurant day stuff and different things. All those things was like I had some experience. I could prove that I have done some marketing for this. I have done some business plan. I have done this and that. So even though I worked for free or like kind of spent my free time on these projects, I had actually some value there that I could show as a reference. So that helped me to actually show that attitude that, hey, I'm active. So that's number 2. Number 3, how many of you use LinkedIn? Everyone? Okay. Yeah, that was the thing. For example, when I entered the first year students presentation or orientation, orientation in the beginning of the year, I asked there, like, because they wanted me also talk about the mentoring program. So there I asked, like, how many of you have LinkedIn and how many of you don't have, and then how many of you want to get a job in the research, like university, and how many of you want to go out of the university, because that's usual case in Tampere, that like students cannot easily find a job and there's a strong research community here, so usually students jump into research because they cannot get any other things than just connecting with their professors. So, but to get into the networks and to keep up with them, you just need to be active on LinkedIn. So that was one of the main discoveries for me, thanks to my mentor. Since the beginning, we kind of worked on my LinkedIn profile, updated, like updated all the things there, and started connecting with people and writing them about what I'm doing and what I'm about. So, and after that, you know that I mentioned some personality traits, okay, self-initiative, hardworking, blah, blah, like showing, like proving yourself. But also things are very straight to the point, and that was one realization that I had, like, okay, I need to be straight to point. And that way I immediately saw the results. When I started the conversation, say I'm Kağan and I'm looking for jobs, they were immediately, what do you do? What is your background? What do you want to do? Blah, blah. So they were immediately getting active into the conversation. But when you start just introducing, hey, I'm Kağan, industrial engineering and so on, and just talking about bullshit, they don't listen. And when you say in the end that I'm looking for a job, and they are like missed all the thing and they got probably bored, they just move on. So you should just mention in the beginning, straight to the point, that you are looking for a job in some specific thing. That was, at least for me, working quite good. And yeah, for me, I am a very picky person on the field that I want to work, as I mentioned. Like, I want to save the world, change the world, and whatever. So I wasn't very actively applying for jobs, and also my the career services consultant or whatever at the university officer said that don't send applications to ones that you don't consider you would work there, just to apply. So instead of wasting time with those applications, like empty applications, just sending out CVs and empty cover letters, like bullshit, I just wanted to focus on the ones that I would really care. And since then, also as Berfin mentioned, like email a bit works, but calling and like getting in personal touch, getting with the networks to the people, because I kind of stopped applying for regular positions. I started to get in touch with people and ask for like employment directly, because 80% of the jobs are not published at all, you know? So there are hidden jobs they find in their networks, or they just find somehow on the street meeting with someone. So you can create your own opportunity that way. So that was the realization that I had, and I kind of stopped applying for jobs, but getting in touch with people directly. So I would recommend that. After that, I don't know what to tell, I should just check. Yeah. So, yeah, finding the topics that you are interested, basically, the passionate topics that you would love to work for, and show it, like, why you want to work there. And then later, how to say that, like, know to show your know-how. There was a workshop also at the university on this, so find out how you can pitch yourself better, you know, how you can present yourself better to people, the potential employers, you know. It's all about communication, and if you can show them that, hey, you are good at communicating and talking about yourself, finding the need, like what they need actually there, and all the things, then you basically solve the problem for them and they will want to hire you. And it's not easy, as everyone mentioned, but maybe learning the language would help if you really think that, okay, I cannot find a job and I am good at learning language, because for me, in sales, I don't believe that I would get a job with learning Finnish. I mean, I got rejected many times from those positions, even though the job ads were in English, they were requiring Finnish skills. And sometimes you should apply for, them whatever the case, because they might be just a bit picky about Finnish, but they might actually hire because the job is in English or the contacts will be in English, whatever. So you need to find those that are actually requiring main English. So yeah, in the sales, I don't believe that I can be fluently selling in Finnish. That's why I don't want to put my efforts into learning Finnish. But if you believe that like you can learn the language rather fast, and in your field actually it would help you, like that it wouldn't bother you learning the language, I would say learn the language, because 80% of the jobs in this country are also still in Finnish. I mean, that's a fact. And it's hard. So even though the jobs are running in English, maybe, they are still preferring if they don't have already one international employee, you know? So if you want to find the job, either find the companies already having one international, or just learn the language. And yeah, it's a bit cliche, but don't give up. The time will come, and like it's not meant to be happen maybe, but the time will come for me and for like I feel like it took some progress. Like we need to change, like strike ourselves that okay, zero, like minus our whole ego, confidence, and everything, build from scratch everything. Then getting there, showing that hey, we are competent about what we are, and showing that in the end. So it's about like pushing. If you want to stay here, you just need to push. Only basically active ones get to that spot. So that's it from me. Thank you. Questions?
Sorry, can you talk more about your demo project that you...
I did 3 of them. That's also activity level. Well, the first one, actually, I got paid, so we can't say free work for that. But yeah, the first one was the electricity car, building an electricity car from scratch. So I was the project manager and business head of the team. we were 5-6 people. So basically, we did quite a good project in the first one, and they wanted to continue. But the second one was, I was actually a bit pissed about that. But it went also under the Demola project again, so it was another Demola progress, even though it was a continuation. So we continued the project, and basically we didn't get funded because the team has changed. We had some Erasmus people went away and came in and so on, so the team didn't match so fast and we couldn't carry on the project like in the first semester and other things as well. And the last one, it was also again about circular economy, circulated material products, the name of the project. So it was creating a product out of nothing from waste, wood and clothes, fabrics basically. We did a beanbag filled with wood dust. That was a cool idea that I wanted to take further, but the team didn't want, so there's waste of also a bit potential and time, but whatever, like at least it's an experience that you can take to the table when you're having interviews or writing your CV and cover letters. The experience is there. Yeah. Any other questions? Please.
Like how long do you spend on like using your LinkedIn?
What?
Like how long, like how much time do you spend on like using your LinkedIn like profiling?
Well, you need to update it actively, and I started to share actually since last, was it March or April? Yeah, I think I started to share also some content there, and that's, I would say it's going pretty good in that sense. Like you get good visibility there from the people who like you, etc. So that's like you can reach others, like networks of your networks. So that way, but the profile, I mean, it's like building, basically taking your CV to digital. But you should, yeah, you should just pay attention to keeping it tidy and consistent, coherent. So it should look like, okay, you write, for example, the position, the same style every position. So you list your responsibilities, you write a text about your company, etc. So it's up to you. I don't say there is one right thing. There are multiple ways. There are many people trying different things out. But summary, good photo, and listing all the experiences and skills is a must. And if you can get also endorsements and references, that would be the best on LinkedIn.
Did you get any response from LinkedIn until now?
Well, the thing is that the process I told you, like kind of getting in touch with people, it works much better than applying for jobs, because when you apply, you just send an application and you just get a rejection. But when you get in touch with people, they reply you, and LinkedIn is the place for Finns actually, like for the job market or like business people. It's very actively used, so you can easily create connection there. And for example, this Thursday I will meet with someone in Helsinki. So there is always a process, you know, you need to build up the relation, you need to chat and meet and so on. It's not because you are not applying for a specific job, you are building a relationship from scratch, and you are expecting them, they see the value in you, and that when they have the ability to hire you, they will do that. For example, one company said that, let's get back to this in April. Like I introduced myself and so on and so on. So he said that, okay, let's get back to this in April and see where we are in our recruitment. So it's not immediate result there, but it's much better working for me, at least more fulfilling, I would say, for me than getting rejections. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yes, since you have experience from Helsinki as well,
Mm-hmm.
did you find any difference in the, let's say, the job ecosystem or the
Yes.
there and here? So what is that?
Well, I mean, there are plenty of companies, and yeah, for me, like what we are about here also to promote is the entrepreneurship path. So either working for startups, like that's one way I would say. In Tampere, it's very limited. There are not many good startups or whatever, but in Helsinki, there is a huge startup potential, and those startups are easy ones to get in because they are looking for global market. They are just very small teams, so you can easily get in. But here, we don't have such startup ecosystem, strong startup ecosystem. They are just struggling to get customer revenue, whatever. The ones who get it, they move to Helsinki. So, yeah. Anyone, anything else?
About the robot, are you still in the team, this Elias robot?
Well, yeah, as I said, like I had to quit and move on.
So no more.
But the thing is that I am connected with them, and I had a chat last semester, but they are still struggling with the funding or the customer, like financial. So they don't have a fund, so I didn't push them much. That's also, we had this Virtus Pivot workshop. I had mentioned some kind of analytical progress there, like how to approach companies and how to get the job. So one thing is that you look for companies, how they are doing yearly basis. Like you can check it on finder.fi, their turnover rates. So if their turnover, the revenues are growing, they should be hiring soon. You should get in touch with them.
What was
But
the name of the website?
finder.fi or phonic.fi. Two of them. I use finder.fi for finding the contact details. So if you can't find a public phone number, email on their website or whatever, you can find it from finder.fi, and phonic.fi is the place that you can check the companies, how they are doing, how much revenues they made in last 3-4 years.
Phonecta to find the contact.
Phonecta is to find the company. Let me check to be sure.
When I call someone, I have Phonecta, so they show the name of the Phonecta to find the contact.
Which one was it? I'm not sure. Finder or Phonecta? One is find
For Phonecta,
contacts.
I'll show you to find the contact.
Okay, then Phonecta is fine. Yeah, then because you got me a bit confused, like when you said Finder or yeah.
You confused.
Yeah, I think Finder is the one, as I first said. Finder is the one that you find the company's data. So from there you can see the company is having some revenue, and if it's increasing, they will look for ways to increase their team as well, because they cannot handle all the sales just themselves. So if the company is growing, and for startups it's easy, and when you see news about startups, they got funding, for example 1 million, 4 million, whatever. There were plenty news like this December and January, for example, Oura Ring and Sulepak or whatever, those are the companies in my radar. So those got funded, so it's time to approach them. They will be competitive when they got such big funding, but if you can actually predict those companies who would be getting the funding or like getting the revenues quite fast growth, so you should approach them at the very early stage. Then you can easily get the contact and get the job, even though before they publish the positions, open the positions. Yeah. Anything else?
No,
Yeah, it's okay.
do you write any like blog? Or
Huh?
do you write any like
Yeah, I said like I write, like I created my own blog and vlog, etc. to kind of experiment and experience and to show like also as a reference that hey, I have been jobless, but I was active, I was doing this, you know. It's a way to show that you haven't been just lazy staying at home.
it gets in the language?
Yeah. Afterwards, yeah. Okay, thank you. And next.